Hi guys, so today is the 9th of April and I'm going to be reading this book which is called The 48 Laws of Power, and I'm going to do it for like 30 minutes. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I'm reading so I can just like increase my knowledge and obviously my vocabulary as well. I wanted to be better, and not only that, I want to be a bit smarter as well. And yeah, so I'm actually doing this in public, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually really, I'm nervous, scared. So that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm just gonna be reading. So yeah. So the time has started. So yeah. Law seeks court's attention at all costs. Judgment. Everything is judged by appearances. What is unseen courts for nothing. Never let yourself get lost in the crowd, then or buried in oblivion. Stand out. Be conspicuous at all costs. Make yourself a magnet of attention by appearing larger, more colorful, more mysterious than the bland and timid masses. So this law is basically the court attention at all costs. So this is basically judgment. Now you should like try to get attention, be like a attracting magnet. So yeah, I'm gonna continue reading. I don't think I'm gonna like break it down because like that's gonna be weird. Um, So here is like little messages here on the side which like explain certain things. So I'm first gonna read that, then I'm gonna read like the key of power, which is like the this basically like the words. So the wasp and the prince. A wasp named Pintail was long in quest of some deed that would make him never famous. So one day he entered the king's palace and stung the little prince who was in bed. The prince awoke with loud cries. The king and his courtiers rushed in to see what had happened. The prince was yelling as the wasp stung him again and again. The courtiers tried to catch the wasp, and each in turn was stung. The whole royal household rushed in. The news soon spread, and people flocked to the palace. The city was in an uproar. All business suspended, said the wasp to itself. Before it expired from its effort, a name without fame, like a fire without flame. There is nothing like attracting notice at any cost. Indian fable, which is the story most now. Keys to power. Burning more brightly than those around you is a skill that no one is born with. You have to learn to attract attention at the start of your career. You must attach your name and reputation to a quality and image that sets you apart from other people. This image can set you apart from other people. Sorry, this image can be something like characteristics, style of dress, or a personality quirk that amasses people and gets talked about. Once the image is established, you have an appearance, a place in the sky for your star. It is a common mistake that this particular appearance of yours should not be controversial, that to be attacked in somehow bad, nothing can be further from the truth. To avoid being a flash in the pan and having your notoriety eclipsed by another, sorry, you must not discriminate between different types of attention in the end. Every kind would every kind will work in your favor. The quote of Lewis your XIV, wow, I was gonna say Lewis, um, contained many talented writers, artists, great beauties, and men and women of impeccable virtue, but no one was more talked about than the singular Duke de Lauzun. The Duke was short, almost dwarfish, and he was prone to the most insolent kind of behavior. He slept with the king's mistress and openly insulted not only other countries but the king himself. Lewis, however, was so be yo wow beleaguered beleaguered by the Duke's incendiary cooked that was he would not bear this absence from the court. It was simple. The strangeness of the Duke's character attracts attention. Once people were entangled by him, entangled, wow, what the hell? Am I saying it wrong? Yeah, entangled by him. They wanted him around at any cost. Society craves longer than life figures. Like society craves larger than life figures. People who stand above general mediocrity. Never be afraid then of the qualities that sets you apart and draw attention to you. Court controversy, even scandal, it is better to be attacked, even slandered than ignored. If you find yourself in a low-key position that offers little opportunity for you to draw attention effectively, trick is trick is to attack the most visible, most famous, most powerful person you can find. When Pedro, a young Roman servant boy of the early 16th century, wanted to get attention as a writer of verses, he decided to publish a series of satirical poems ridiculing the Pope and his affection for a pet elephant. The attack put Artino in the public eye immediately. A slanderous attack on a person in a position of power would have a similar effect. Remember, however, to use such tactics sparingly after you have the public's attention when the act can within. Once in the limelight, you must constantly renew it by adapting and verifying your method of courting attention. If you don't, the public will grow tired, will take you for granted, and will move on to a newer star. The game requires constant vigilance and creativity. Pablo never allowed himself to fade into the background if his name became too attached to a particular style. He would deliberately upset the public with a new series of paintings that went against all expectations. Better to create something ugly and disturbing, he believed, than to let viewers grow too familiar with his work. Understand people feel superior to the person whose actions can be predicted. If you show them who is in control by playing against the expectation, you both gain their respect and tighten your hold on their fleeting attention. Even when I'm railed at, I get my quota of renewal. Pedro from 1492 to 1556. So that was like the quote he gave. Image the lamplight, the actor who steps into this brilliant light attracts a entangled, a heightened presence. All eyes are on him. There is a room for only one actor at a time in the lamplight's narrow beam. Do whatever it takes to make yourself its focus. Make your gesture so large, amusing, and scandalous that the light stays on you while the other actors are left in the shadows. Authority be aston astonish wow and be seen what is not seen is as though it did not exist. It was a light that first caused all creation to shine forth. The spring fill up many blanks, cover up defects certain you and gives everything a second life, especially when it is blocked by genuine merit. That's by Bloch's creation basically. So yeah, so basically I read for like 10 minutes. I'm gonna read low 7 next time because like it's actually getting crowded and a lot of people are staring at me and it's kind of getting uncomfortable. So I'm gonna stop here because like yeah, thank you boys. So basically, I read for like 10 minutes. So I'm gonna continue reading like extra 20 minutes when I get it down because it is getting, as I said, cramped. So thank you, boys. Safe.